Don't wear your glasses.
No.
Oh, go on, you look right good.
Because if I wear my glasses right, that means that I've also got contacts on, which means that I get like double the thing, which means it's really hard to see.
You look like a right wanker.
Why?
You don't really, I was only joking, but...
Well, it's far easier to see like that. Can you see through them?
Yeah.
Does it go blurry?
Yeah.
It does go blurry.
Yeah.
Hello. Today we're going to talk about image, band image to be more specific. There are a lot of bands, like younger bands and local bands and stuff, that have the mentality of, we don't need an image, we'll just wear our normal clothes and we'll just use whatever fonts and stuff, like when making posters or whatever. That's wrong. That's not the right way to be thinking about stuff. Whether you like it or not, being marketable as a band is necessary for reaching your potential. While the music is always most important, it's always important to have good music and be good at your music and have good songs and stuff, having a brand and an image is still just as important. And when we're talking about a brand or an image, we're not just talking about clothing, although that is the first thing we're going to talk about. Joe, let's cut to... We haven't done this in a while, where we both do things but in different shots, so let's cut to Joe.
Don't cut to me.
Oh, we've cut to Joe.
Joe didn't approve of any of that sequence, as you can see by his stupid face now. But I think it's genius.
There are bands that have very extreme images. By extreme, I'm talking Slipknot with the really big masks and the Alcatraz uniforms, and Kiss with the face paint and the big spiky shoulders. Even Gorillaz to an extent, even though that's a whole other thing. That's like a whole show that they put on. I mean, it's not even them that perform on the stage, it's holograms. You should check that out, it's pretty cool. There are bands that have an obvious image, but it's not quite so striking, like Oasis and Catfish and the Bottlemen even. There are even individual people in bands that have an image, like Slash with his big hat and his big hair and his shirtlessness.
And the Aviators.
And the Aviators.
I don't think I've ever seen Slash's eyes.
No, me neither. You know he's from Mansfield.
It's from somewhere that's like completely in rock and roll.
Mansfield, yeah. And then there's Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who parades around naked all the time with the shaved head and the bass, and he's absolutely just
And he's
insane.
toothless.
He has teeth.
It doesn't have one of them.
He doesn't have one of his teeth. But yeah, that's his image.
There are some bands that don't have a specific image, but kind of change the image depending on the albums that they're doing. The best example of this is Green Day. I've got the poster of that. When they started doing American Idiot, which was a more mature album, it was a concept album, they went from their normal, let's dress like teenagers, kind of skate gear that like Blink was wearing, and they started wearing like shirt and tie. And they did that for the two concept albums, where they were, I guess, more mature. Another example of a band that changes their image depending on the album is Arctic Monkeys. So they started out just the everyday clothing and stuff, and then when they got to the third album, they went baggy jumpers and big long hair, and I believe they actually like got less famous for that bit, if I'm right. Like, I distinctly remember around that time going, oh, I wonder what Arctic Monkeys are doing now, and they were like playing like really small clubs, and then come fifth album, which was AM, is that right? Yeah, so come AM, they were like greasers, essentially, weren't they? Like leather jackets, hair slicked back, ooh, I'm Frank Sinatra and all that shit. As much as Alex Turner, especially, having that image might annoy some people, it's a recognisable image, and sometimes that's all you need. Some bands also have certain images for certain songs. The only example that we could come up with, I think there's definitely other artists that do it in certain songs. We're pretty sure that there are, we just can't think of any. But one example of a band that has an image just for like one song is 21 Pilots. They've got Heavy Dirty Soul, which they opened their live shows with, and they've got this kind of really dark kind of aggression to the song itself, and to replicate that live, they have everything in the venue is either off or bright red, and like they've got the mic drops down from the ceiling, which is lit up bright red. They're wearing balaclavas, and it's got this kind of really cool image to it. But for the rest of the set, they don't have that. For the rest of the set, they're like wearing Hawaiian shirts and ukuleles and stuff. They just have an image for a song, which is one way you could do it. I mean, that's probably something that you should do when you're a bigger band and people know what your normal image is and that this is different, but it works for them, and it's a really good way of kicking off a live show.
You might think that some bands don't actually have an image. That's a lie. They do have an image. Bands like Blink-182 and Rage Against the Machine, they do have an image. Even even though it's not directly obvious when you look at them, what they're wearing reflects the mood of their music. Like Blink-182 are a pop punk band, so they wear skater clothes, and Rage Against the Machine are a very rebellious, anti-establishment band, so they wear cheap, non-branded clothing to reflect the fact that they are anti-establishment. It's something you really need to talk about with your band. You need to decide how extreme you want your image and what you want your image to be. What you want your image to be will obviously depend on what kind of music you do. But if you've created some kind of weird genre of your own, then...
You're falling off the screen.
Really?
You like keep leaning that way. You're like, you can do this, or this, or this, or this, until you eventually just end up off.
Okay.
Fuck up. Don't lobs. I like that pen. Alright, dickhead. I'm not going to throw it back at you. I'm not immature like that.
You're not?
I'm just going to draw on the lens a big...
Don't draw on the lens, this is your camera.
There.
True lips. My lips are true. I speak truth words.
That's why you should listen to us. And subscribe if you haven't already. I'm not going to say that.
Comment down below, guys.
Yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you want regular updates from us. Like, fuck off! Like, you know, if someone wants to watch your videos, they'll fucking subscribe, alright?
Can I continue?
Yeah, sorry.
If you've created a weird genre of your own, then also feel free to create a weird image of your own. If you've combined reggae with metal, then...
Well done.
Well then, bravo, that's a fucking good feat.
Yeah, please wear, like, all black, but with, like, bright green dreads.
Yeah, that. Things like that is what good quality new images are made from.
Yeah, it can be a massive tool to propel and shit.
Even if you don't really want to have a really obvious image, if you just want to wear t-shirts or just plain black everything, then you need to talk about it with your band. Create an image, create a brand.
Make babies.
Make babies.
We've been talking about image, and yes, image is super important, but we've only been talking about it about clothing and what clothing you should wear and what clothing other bands have been wearing. There's a whole other side to it, which is like logos and fonts and colour schemes and stuff. So when you're making posters or when you're making cover photos or profile pictures or whatever it is with your band on it, it's important to think about what fonts you're going to be using. Like if you're a metal band, there's a very specific type of font that you should be using, like the kind of like etched, really distorted kind of look. If someone sees something written in that kind of font, they think metal band. If it's kind of like wobbly and a bit wavy, it looks kind of psychedelic. Colours, if you're using red, it implies heavy, like hard rock, metal kind of stuff. If you use yellow, it implies weird. Like yellow's a one that can be not interpreted as a specific genre, but more of like the mood being a bit weird. Would you agree with that? I'd agree with that. I did the improvisation bitch thing.
Improvisation bitch.
So for all of this, all of thinking about the image, thinking about clothing, thinking about logos, thinking about fonts, thinking about colour schemes, it's all just kind of about what people's first impression of you is going to be. So for long-time fans and stuff, like the image doesn't really matter. What font a band uses doesn't really matter. They just care about the music and they want to listen to your music. But it's more to draw people in. The image is more about pulling people into your world and telling people what you're about at a first glance. So just by walking on stage without even playing a song, an audience should be able to tell what kind of music you're playing, or at least roughly. I mean, instruments are a big part of the image as well. Like there are certain looks to certain guitars that imply certain genres, and you should think about that when you're thinking about what guitar you're going to be getting or using. With that said, if anyone here still thinks, oh, still don't want an image, it's not, we don't need an image. You do need an image, and it will definitely help you to have one. Try to not copy bands like what you are, like colour schemes and that kind of stuff, because colour schemes can be played with in interesting ways, and you can use colours that you wouldn't normally associate with that genre, and that can be your thing. So if you're a punk rock band, use pink. Go with something like completely opposite to what you'd normally think, and it gives you something unique without even having a song yet. We've got something for you. I was gonna, but alright, okay. Yeah, we've got a new sidebar. Looks alright. Better than the old thing that we used to end with. See, I wanted that to be used for outros and stuff, but we'd actually have a proper thing for an outro for this video because it's not the end of the month, and I've got nothing else to say. So this entire little crap bit at the end is just so we can show that off. Have a good day. See you later.
Peace out.
Jesus Christ, it is just like an old music lab video, isn't it? God, hello 2014. Nice to see you.
Will you fuck off?
For context, they tried to draw on me.
I did no such thing.